training camp bullshit.
That's fine.
Goff extension. We can mention that.
Yeah, then we'll do like training camp buzz and shit.
Yeah.
Next time.
Welcome back to the Dynasty Happy Hour Tuesday afternoon edition. Ooh. If you're here watching in the middle of the day, maybe you're on your lunch break. Maybe you're just like, I hate this meeting and I'm going to watch these guys talk about football. Thank you. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Maybe you're watching via Facebook Live. However you choose to view our not so gorgeous faces, we appreciate it and thank you. I'm back with Tyler again this week per usual, and we are going to do a 2-round Superflex rookie mock draft. Before we do that, I did want to give a shout out to our sponsor, manscaped.com. Use code DHH, save 20%. If you've got hair up here or down there, they've got you covered. The best in the business. I love their products. Not only do they make me look good, they make me feel good, they make me smell good. The total package, Lex Luger on manscaped.com. Code DHH to save 20%. Today, Tyler, how the hell are you?
Busy. Woke up this morning. It's payday. And payday always means
I get all gone.
I get to look at how much money I have. And I even told my wife this morning, I said, I'm so happy in the morning. I've got money in my account. Here we go. Let's let the day begin. And then the sadness starts kicking in. I spent $400 at Costco and $200 at Target. So your boy broke.
Bye-bye. It was nice having that money while you had it.
Yes,
it kept you warm for a couple of hours.
But that's my duties. I'm the grocery guy, and the wife is mostly everything else.
Yeah, I do all the grocery shopping over here, and I enjoy it. I had a light BJ's week last week, so I was like, under $100.
What'd you just say?
BJ's Wholesale Club, Tyler, get your mind out.
The algorithm just booted us from YouTube.
Right, they're like, nope. I mean, every time I go to BJ's, still never get one, but maybe one day. We'll see. I got to check their flyer and see what they got going on. All right, let's get into a little bit of news. There was a big extension in the NFL. The Detroit Lions are on an absolute spending spree to keep the band together. They've extended Amon-Ra St. Brown in the offseason, as well as Penei Sewell to record-breaking deals. And now Jared Goff, I believe, is the second highest paid
annually.
Yeah, which, you know what? For fantasy purposes, I love it. They're going to keep this core together for the foreseeable future. So we should still get fantasy goodness from Goff, St. Brown, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, my boy Sam Laporta. Like, this offense is locked in for the next at least 3 or 4 years pretty easily. And I love that insulation in fantasy. This makes me very happy because I have Goff on a couple of rosters, and I didn't think he was ever going anywhere. But if you put Goff on a different team, you probably aren't going to get the same results that he has in Detroit. He's got a good thing going. Good for him. That trade worked out for both teams, and that rarely happens when two teams trade a quarterback. The Rams won a Super Bowl. The Lions were just in the NFC Championship, and I assume they're probably going to be close to it again this year. So you love to see it. Tyler, any thoughts?
No, and for people saying like, oh, the offensive coordinator and stuff, we've talked about this before. I think Ben Johnson takes the Kyle Shanahan route and stays as an offensive coordinator for a while until he feels comfortable being a head coach. It just seems like a lot of teams are kind of maybe off put by his style of coaching or who he is.
Well, there was the whole thing with Washington where, like, there was that whole story, which it could be some off-putting stuff.
And I mean, I get not wanting to do Washington because, I don't know. You're kind of a lot new ownership, new coach. You're probably like, I don't know. So then you go back to Detroit where you know what you're doing, you know what you're dealing with, and
you got close to the Super Bowl.
I think this pushes Goff more into where Kirk Cousins is, like his whole career. Like Goff has usually been in like quarterback 15 to 18 range. Yeah. I think this boosts him up into like quarterback 12, 13. Like we should at least, like, unless Trevor does something this year, we should at least think about like, hey, Goff or Trevor. Like that's what we should be thinking about. But the discount on Goff is legit. So if you can get him still, which,
and he's still what, 28?
He'll 29? Be 30 this year.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say it's not that he's old.
Yeah, so he's got what, probably 6 years left in the league.
Well, at least.
Yeah,
I mean the way quarterbacks play nowadays and the need for quarterback, I don't think that's going to change in 6 years. So
yeah, and in his price is awesome.
Yeah, I mean we were able to acquire him for a second in some leagues the year before last.
Yep. So like
Yeah.
right when kind of Hendon Hooker was a debate, like, oh, is Hooker going to take over? Is
Yeah.
what's going on? And so yeah, if you were ahead of the game, you are cheering for joy.
Yeah, and no hookers at BJ's, by the way, if you're wondering. So
Really?
bummer.
Wow.
Not even a Hendon Hooker. It was or a Malik Hooker. Nothing.
Wow, that's surprising.
It is what it is. We've got some rookie camps that opened over the weekend. There's been a little bit of buzz. We've saw the like saddest highlight videos of all time. This is the time of year where you listen to what coaches say. They're all going to pump up the players they just picked. It's just natural. Once we start to see some better footage, maybe with some pads on, then I'll start to pay attention. Unless it's like this guy looks really good and it's a steady drumbeat, because those are the kind of things that you really want to, if you keep hearing it, then there might be some smoke. And, when there's smoke, there's fire. So guys like Puka Nacua last year, we heard it with Tank Dell, like guys that you still hear the drumbeat for. That's when you really want to start to pay attention. And especially with a lot of our rookie leagues done, if there's any guys, constantly check who's available in your leagues post draft, because you may hear a name and you're like, oh, I don't even know if that guy got drafted. Don't miss that opportunity. That is an opportunity in Dynasty to make money. So if you did it with like Darren Waller back in the day or a player like that, it could be a huge payoff to spend a few dollars in fab to flip them for a potential, mid to early round pick, depending on who it is. So never forget that.
Don't be scared to spend your fab on these players, because once the season starts, like week 1, you're going to sit there and think you're happy you saved it, especially in deep dynasty leagues. You're going to be happy you spent the money now, because like the Taj Washington, the Malik Washingtons, like go get those guys, because in camp, those prices will go up and you might be able to get a third for them when you just picked them off fab.
Yep, 100%. And don't be an idiot like me and spend all your fab accidentally on the rugby player from Kansas City.
What if he just blows up? That would be hysterical.
They work him into the offense. He's getting like 10 touches a game and he's like electric. I'd be like, well, I guess it worked out.
Yeah.
I don't know how I made that mistake. I'm usually really good with my fab. I think maybe I meant to put 10 and I just put 100. Whatever. It's a deep league. There's not a lot available, but I just kind of laughed. Like, it is what it is.
You got him, though.
He's mine. All mine on my taxi, where he probably will be out of the league, like that kid from the Niners a few years ago. Remember him?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
They tried him out and I like picked him up and yeah, it's worth a flyer, but not for $100. But
then he went to like Detroit. Yeah. Then they're like, nope.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. That's how important he was. All right. Anything else, Tyler? I think that's
no. Let's get rolling into this. I got to go get my haircut.
Yes, you do. We're doing 12 team.
Yep, 12 team.
Super flex, tight end premium. 2 rounds. Who's got the first pick? We never established this because we're a hot mess.
You know what? Because I feel like you have maybe one Caleb share.
I just got one at the 109 in a single QB league. 6-point passing touchdown, however. So for me, smash value. I would have taken him as early as the 105.
I was going to say, a lot of people even say with 4-point, Caleb and Jaden are probably worth 105, 106 if you need a quarterback. So
yeah, Caleb went 109 and then Daniels went 111, so he wasn't too far behind. Let's go Superflex 101. I will go with Caleb Williams. Depending on my team build, we traded the 101 in a league, my buddy Damon and I, for the 102 because we told Al we were going to take Caleb and he wanted him, and we really wanted Marvin Harrison Jr. So cool. We got an extra 3rd-round pick for that. So that was nice. So we traded down a spot and we took Marv at 102. I'm cool if you go either way. If you've got 3 quarterbacks and then you need wide receiver help, totally makes sense to take Marv. If you have 1 quarterback and you need quarterback help, then it totally makes sense to take Caleb or even Jaden Daniels if you're a big Jaden Daniels guy, like our friend Derek Brown, friend of the show. But I will take Caleb here at the 101. We've never seen a rookie set up on paper for this kind of success. 3 running backs that are all capable, I think. 3 receivers, a tight end, an offensive line that was pretty good at the end of the year. So I think Caleb is set up to succeed and be a potential QB1 in year 1.
Yeah, he's already 1st-round Superflex startup.
And he's announced the starter, so you don't even have to worry about it.
That's true.
Tyson Bagent, all set.
Number 18 is his jersey. That's
Peyton Manning.
Orton.
Don't you do that.
I mean, if the jersey
Kyle
fits,
Orton was like the Dollar Tree Chad Pennington.
Yes, I was thinking the exact same thing. No joke. That was the exact thought going through my
He did
mind.
have that good run though. I remember picking him up in the league where he was like doing really well. Was that like Marty Booker and like or maybe
Yeah.
Brandon Marshall? I don't remember, but
He
it was a while he was fantasy relevant for like a few weeks.
like a guy with that arm strength, like Chad Pennington style. He starts his career in Denver and then goes to
The ball just
goes
keeps
to
floating.
goes to Chicago, like the two probably worst places you could play in for like weather and all that stuff. And he goes there. Like he couldn't go
Wild.
to Miami where Pennington played. He couldn't go to any of these spots in a dome. Like, yeah, he got the short end of the straw, of course. Um, I'm gonna go Marv for kind of what you said. I think he's the safest pick in this draft. I
Yep.
think he's pretty much locked in as top 12 wide receiver right now. He'll get the targets. He'll probably have 140 year one. I'm not worried about anything.
Yeah, I mean they brought in Zay Jones though, Tyler.
I do like Zay.
I do
in
like Zay. It's a
Arizona.
good fit for him. It maybe dings Dortch a little bit, which I know he was a
Oh
sleeper for a
no,
lot of people. They
the
like
human
him.
Dortch.
The human Dortch. They like
Uh,
him. Michael Wilson couldn't stay healthy in year one,
Yep.
so
And he's also a flyer. So this wide receiver core went from being 3 deep to now being 4 deep. So and you got Trey McBride and Tip Reinman.
Tip Ryman, gritty tip. He's got that gritty tip. He should probably wash it.
Going back to Manscaped. All right, Manscaped.
Yeah. Don't get a gritty tip. Use Manscaped. Yeah, no,
All right,
Marv
you're up
is,
at
I think,
3.
a slam dunk at the 102.
Yeah.
For me, the 103, this is really between a couple different players, and I could easily go quarterback here. I'm not the biggest Jaden guy. But what I am big on is Malik Neighbors. He has a ceiling that could be higher than Marv's because he's a more explosive playmaker. In similar situation as Marv, what are the pass catchers on this team? Darren Waller might retire. They've got Daniel Bellinger. They drafted Theo Johnson. Cool. He's a bit of a project, but a freak out of Penn State. They got Jalen Hyatt, Wandale Robinson, Darius Slayton. Neighbors, again, he should see easily, if he's healthy, 140 targets.
It's just the quality of targets that we're worried about for Daniel Jones.
I think Danny Dimes, for what Neighbors is going to do, I think Danny Dimes will be okay.
I mean, personally, I think Drew Lock could be it. And Drew Lock, I mean, you're at both quarterbacks. They're at the end of the line. Like this is their last opportunity, so they're gonna send up some YOLO balls and just get the ball into the playmakers' hands so they look good. So yeah, I think
the Giants add a rookie quarterback next year, and there you go.
Yeah.
So Neighbors 103.
For me, this is easy. It's Jane Daniels. I wasn't big on him. The issues for me are injuries. But for me, I think with his situation, the coaching setup, Kingsbury is a good offensive-minded head coach. He's not a great head coach. He's a good OC, I think. So for me, the situation, I'm easing up on Daniels a little more. I traded Kyler straight up for him 1-for-1, and I think they're pretty much even. But Daniel's ceiling is very high. It's all about the health. Can he stay healthy? Can he be smarter?
How often is he going to rush? Yeah.
Can he be smarter? He's got to rush. Like that's the thing. Like
I think his floor is like Justin Fields.
Yes, his floor could be Justin Fields. His ceiling could be
Lamar.
I think a lower end running.
It's a lazy, easy comp, but
I think he won't run as much as Lamar.
Maybe
but
Kyler?
He will pass more. He'll pass more than
Kyler.
Kyler's a good one. Kyler though,
early Kyler when he used to scramble like he was stealing someone's cell phone.
Yes, Kyler at 100 steps per foot compared to Jane Daniels 1 stride per foot. So yeah, that's a good comp. But his upside, he's probably going to be a top 12 quarterback if he can stay healthy because of the rushing upside. It's what can he do passing? What can these weapons do? We've seen the tight end look good in camp. We've seen, I still think Jahan Dotson could break out at year 3. I still think there's a hope there.
You've been acquiring him in a couple of leagues I've seen.
Yes, and Terry McLaurin, he's that speed guy downfield, and I mean Terry McLaurin is kind of like a poor man's Neighbors.
I love the photo of a Lamborghini parked in like a crappy house driveway, and they're like, "Oh, look, it's Terry McLaurin."
Yeah, pretty much.
He's so much better than his stats bear out.
But this offense should be a lot better. He's got Eckler in the backfield to kind of help him with the dump offs, and Robinson to carry the load. I think the offensive line played better than it showed last year.
Yeah.
I mean, Robinson isn't ultra talent, but he showed up pretty
solid.
good last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Daniels is also another high upside. I think he's a little safer than people are giving him credit for. It's literally, to me, is just about the injuries and just how dumb he is at running into the line, the defensive line.
Whoops. So this is the third pick in a row where you could argue you can go wide receiver or quarterback. Again, it depends on how much you like a player your team need, but because this player is paired with the 101 Caleb Williams, you know the stability is going to be there for at least the next 4 to 5 years. And I think Rome Odunze is very, very good. All green chart on reception perception. Love to see it.
That'd be so sweet to pair him up in rookie drafts. Oh
I did. God, right? Nice. Keenan Allen's there this year. That's okay. He's not going to be there long term. We all know DJ Moore is there. So Rome, so the rookie year, you take him at the 105. If you really like Rome and you didn't get him, I mean, there's a possibility you could buy him a little bit of a dip because people might get frustrated. Maybe good dynasty manager is going to be like, no. But there's dynasty managers out there.
Like JSN right now.
Yeah, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, he's just not doing it for me. Like, I'll trade him because maybe they're in a win-now team and they want someone that's going to contribute this year, and they'll make that decision and not really think it through. That happens in leagues. We all know this. So I'm going to take Rome Odunze. I love the profile. He's the outside X receiver for Caleb Williams in what should be a fun offense, especially if they – if they're both there super long term, they build this mega stadium indoors. Like, I love it even more because Rome on the turf is pretty nasty too. So give me Rome Odunze. I think he's got like Mike Evans, Devontae Adams type of upside when it's all said and done.
These three wide receivers could be 1, 2, and 3 in like 3 years in Dynasty. Like, that's what we're kind of looking at.
Yeah, because in 3 years, like, Jefferson's going to be 28, Chase will be older. Like, yeah, we all know how the youth movement goes.
Yeah.
So,
and
I agree with that.
No, I really like this pick, and we all see it with JSN. A lot of people being like, well, maybe he can't separate. Maybe he can't do this. He's also behind, like, JSN was behind 2 good receivers, NFL good receivers, with Geno Smith, who's not Caleb. So there's that added plus to it. But JSN is now looked at as an afterthought, and everybody's poo-pooing on him, saying, "Oh yeah, he can't separate. Yep, don't worry about it." It's like a year ago, you guys were all talking about this guy as the next one. So yeah, we all know how the market shifts. My next pick, Drake May. Liked him pre-draft. I'm not worried about him sitting here. Oh no. I mean, I waited for Jordan Love for 3 years. I can wait for Drake May in a year.
Yep.
He's ultra talented. It was between him and the other quarterback for me, but they're both probably going to sit a little bit. We might see one sooner,
possibly,
but Drake May is the ultra talent, the arm, everything we need. And honestly, I expect one of these Patriot receivers to come out and go gangbusters. I expect one of these 2 rookies to come out and be the alpha of this team.
I'm on the clock in that single QB league I was talking about, and there's a certain Patriots receiver that's available in a few picks, and I'm hoping he makes it to me. We'll see what happens.
If you looked at his X-rays, he's got that dog in him.
I saw that. I believe it was a Rottweiler even.
Yes,
so that's a bonus. That is a bonus. At 107, again, it's one of those things. I could take a quarterback here who I'm not a fan of, or I could take arguably the number 1 prospect of all time at his position, Brock Bowers. And I understand that the landing spot, he went to the Raiders, it's over, Michael Mayer. Like, okay, Devontae Adams is there this year. Maybe he gets traded. He's not there next year. I think the Raiders are going to use Brock Bowers like the Jacksonville Jaguars use Evan Ingram. And if they do that, that's 100 catches, easy. And Bowers is more of an athlete than Ingram is. I know Ingram's fast, but Bowers is just a better overall player than Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram is a glorified wide receiver playing the tight end position. I believe Bowers can block. He can do the little things. We know he's explosive. We know he's athletic. We know he looks like an insurance agent, and that's okay. So does Hunter Renfrow. Maybe they'll be teammates again. But for me, it's Bowers because I know everyone's sleeping on him now, but I could see him coming in, and I know they've got Adams, they've got Jacoby Myers, they've got Bowers and Mayer. I think Bowers can still have a solid rookie year. And for a tight end, a solid rookie year for me is 50 to 60 catches, 600 to 700 yards, 5 or 6 touchdowns. And arguably, that's a borderline tight end one. So the upside is there for Bowers. I know we don't like the landing spot, but we didn't like the A.J. Brown landing spot when he went to Tennessee, and everyone faded him. And look at him now. He's a top 6 dynasty wide receiver and has been. So for me, believe in the talent. This guy is on another level talent-wise. So I don't care where he landed. They'll figure out a way to use him. The draft capital is there. Brock Bowers, 107.
Yeah, Bowers is going to be that guy where we look back and go
zero Brock Bowers. Unfortunately,
I got one in a 10-team league at 201.
I still have time though. I got auctions.
I got him at 201 in a 10-team league. It was a tight end premium as well. And then I got offered a Godfather deal for like 4 other picks very close by where I could really get value. So I sold them off right away. But somebody noticed the value just like I did, and sent me a Godfather offer that I couldn't refuse. So yeah. I did. This one's JJ McCarthy. There's news he's not doing so hot in camp, but he's also a wee babby, and I don't see him starting anyways. It's the quarterback position for me. I could have went a couple other routes here, but quarterbacks are king in Superflex, and if JJ McCarthy does pan out, yeah, his value is gonna be twice as much as anybody else left on this board. So I'm taking JJ. And also the Brock Bowers, like I said, he's going to be the guy where everybody's all pissed off that they didn't take him earlier than they should have. Like, he's going to be that guy where it's like, God, I could have had him at 107, 108, and I decided to go a running back or one of these receivers that we're going to talk about.
I've seen McCarthy go as high as 104 a couple different times.
Yep.
Or 105 in leagues that I'm in. So for 108 for McCarthy, seems like good value.
And these rumors of him, he's throwing balls into the dirt and stuff. If you listen to actual NFL podcasts, like I listen to Michael Lombardi, I'm not a fan of Michael Lombardi, but he gives great advice on stuff. But when he tells you like, hey, this part of the NFL, the rookie mini camps, is just getting them comfortable with everything. Like, yeah, you go through meetings about not to gamble and stuff. That's like the first couple of days. You get your locker and stuff, and then there's like walkthroughs. They're not like actual practices. They're just getting loose. This is where people get into shape. Like Rome, he had a hamstring injury, and everybody's like, "Oh, here we go." It's like they're not in shape. They just spent a month with this draft process. They took a month off after working their butts off for the combine. So now they're going to get into football shape. When they get into training camp, that's when. Or OTAs, that's when they'll be in shape. So don't worry about any of the news happening, like Rome struggling with his hamstring and JJ throwing balls into dirt.
Remember when Jamar Chase couldn't catch a football?
Yes, and like we are looking at the point. This is why I kind of like to do one rookie draft in August, because the values go so up and down.
Yeah,
and I usually always did one in August, and I don't have one, but I should look into changing that because that's always fun to do. Even though it's hard to wait, but it's nice to get those values.
Especially being you.
Yes.
Because I believe your superhero name is Captain Impatient.
Yes, it is. Comes with a cape.
Yeah. And it's funny you work at a hospital because you can't be a doctor because you have no patience.
God.
Let's
get through this shit.
All right, I am up at the 109. It's between a couple of receivers here. Between a couple of receivers here for me. I think I'm going to take Xavier Worthy. I think he's worthy of this pick.
Yeah, I actually thought about him over JJ just because I think with the whole Rice stuff, we forgot to tap into that. Rice is in trouble again. Oh no.
Well, we can talk about it now. So yes, Rice is could be potentially in trouble with laid his hands on somebody in a club.
College.
And he had issues in college. This is I'm starting to see some trends here. So the impending suspension, it looks like it's going to be at least a half a season, is what I've been hearing. So we'll see. But yeah, Worthy, they traded up to get him. That means a lot to me, especially because the Bills traded with him again. That's how they got Mahomes in the first place. But they're trying to get it right. They've spent draft capital on McCole Hardman and Sky Moore, And I think they really are searching for that player that can make a difference and be good like Tyreek was. I mean, Worthy's not going to be Tyreek. I'm just using that the name comparison. But they need that type of player because, of the Rice problems. Kelce being 34. I know he signed a 2-year extension. Cool. They need playmakers. They won a Super Bowl because of their defense last year.
Yeah.
Their defense was out of this world. They lost their best corner. They traded him because he was getting tagged. So they're going to have to score more points and be more competitive. So this is a perfect plan for that. So anytime you can match a first-round receiver with the best quarterback on the planet, you got to kind of do it.
Yeah. And we may talk about another receiver paired up with another great quarterback here soon. You took Worthy at 109. 110, I will go Ladd McConkey. I'm just going to say it. I have no Jonathan Brooks just because I know he's with the Panthers and there could be a chance the Panthers are decent, which I think they'll be better because he can't be any worse. Jonathan Brooks is still on the Panthers. And if their left tackle they drafted 2 years ago doesn't play better, this offensive line still isn't going to be great. So I went with Ladd McConkey, who is right now the wide receiver one for the Chargers. He's going to get a lot of short passes. I think he's going to be best friend of Herbert. And not only short passes, this guy can take the top off the defense, and Herbert can finally let loose the cannon that he has. Harbaugh, I think, realizes the talent. Harbaugh is you're on mute, by the way. So Harbaugh I think Harbaugh to me realizes the talent Herbert has. He went to the Chargers for a reason. He said Herbert was the number one quarterback on his list of where he'd want to go coach. And I think he's not going to hold him back. Like JJ McCarthy, yeah, he was limited. He's a young kid. And why do what you have to when in college in Big Ten? You just have to run the ball and play tough defense. Mm-hmm. So for me, I think he knows what he's got with Herbert, and he's not scared to let loose. And I think people are undervaluing that. And you know what? I think people are undervaluing Quentin Johnson too, who I don't think
you spelled Josh Palmer wrong.
Quentin Johnson, I think, is going to be that. I think he's going to do better. Like he has to.
He's going to be Alec Pierce, just running a straight line on 99% of your.
That's
runs.
true. Probably he just has to catch it. And it's funny because him and Marv are working together this offseason. Quentin Johnson and Marvin Harrison Jr. And it's so clear the talent Marv has because when Quentin Johnson shows, he fights with the ball. Marv, it's just easy. It's comfortable. Yep. Quentin Johnson's still fighting with the ball, and you can tell he's working on it. But sometimes it's just got to be natural. So, yeah, for me, Ladd McConkey here at 110.
What I chimed in was that all I heard you say was take the top off and then unleash the cannon. And you lost me. I went on mute. I was like, I started daydreaming. I don't know what's going on. I'll take Brian Thomas Jr. at the 111. I think this is really good value for BTJ. Had the great combine, 4.3 speed, goes to a spot where he should get plenty of targets, in essence replacing Calvin Ridley, but should do the job better than Calvin Ridley did. I think Ridley was a little bit not a great fit in Jacksonville. So Trevor Lawrence, he's due to have a massive extension. So he thanks Jared Goff, sent him a nice edible arrangement and said thank you. Because Trevor Lawrence is going to get the bag here soon. And, Christian Kirk's there for another year or two. Gabriel Davis, I don't really care about, to be quite honest. But Brian Thomas Jr. gives them that electric, field stretcher. He is a little bit raw. He only ran a couple of routes similar to DK Metcalf in college. So hopefully he follows the same route and works on being more versatile and working on the little things like DK did to become more of a complete receiver. And I think Thomas Jr. has that ability to do that. So to get him at the 111, I mean, pre-draft process, he was 108-ish. So he slips a little bit.
109. He was right after the big 8.
I got him at the 113 in one league. And I was super happy with that. I was like, all right, I'll take that value all day long.
He's kind of the forgotten guy. That's what I feel.
For no reason.
Yeah. My next pick, I will take Jonathan Brooks. I think he is the best running back in the class. He is by far the only running back I kind of have interest in this class, other than maybe one more. And then the rest are kind of just upside shots. But yeah, Jonathan Brooks to me, he seems to be in line to be ready for training camp, but we'll see. He'll get eased in. So I wouldn't expect too crazy numbers for the first half. Could be a buy low. But yeah, Jonathan Brooks here at, 112?
112. Peaches and cream.
Great.
112.
Great callback.
You got it. I am up at the 201. There's some receivers that I don't like here. to be completely honest. And I'm like, not a huge fan of the profiles. I know one went with an elite quarterback, but I'm going to pass on that. This is a super flex league. I went receiver over quarterback a couple of times. Now I'm going quarterback over receiver. I'm going to take Bo Nix at 201 because Nix, to me, he's going to start right away. Jarrett Stidham's not going to hold him off, and neither is Zach Wilson. We've already heard some good things coming out of camp, as we should anyway with any of these rookies. But
especially quarterbacks.
But I think Bo Nix is being slept on a little bit. This offense isn't going to be terrible. A lot of people think it's like, it's better offense on paper than the Patriots offense, right? Like, I don't think it's that bad. You got his college teammate, Troy Franklin. You got Sutton returning. He didn't get traded. Greg Dulcich should be healthy this year. You've got Marvin Mims on his second year. You've got 3 running backs, even 4 running backs really that should be capable. Estime is supposedly the Incredible Hulk. So, you got Javonte, Jaleel, who I love, and Samaje. I don't think this offense is that bad. And Bo Nix, I think he's going to be Sean Payton's chips are all in on Bo Nix. If Bo Nix is great, Sean Payton gets to work longer. If Bo Nix busts, then Sean Payton can finally get out of the league. But I like Bo Nix. I think he's been slept on because he's an older prospect. He does have a lot of experience, which does go a long way. I just like the way that he can process, and I think he's got good arm strength, even though, a lot of his stuff, check down. I think he has the ability to throw medium and long too. So Bo Nix at 201, I'm cool with it.
I don't know. Like, there's a chance because nobody liked Bo Nix in the process. Nobody
liked Josh Allen either.
Yeah, but there was some upside with Josh Allen because he had that cannon.
People loved Trey Lance. Quarterback is a 50% hit rate.
There's still a part of me that thinks he's going to pull off a mask and he's just a joker. Just gotcha. And we're all just going to be eating the 201, the 112. I've seen 110 in leagues. Bo Nix goes, yeah, we could just be eating crow like crazy.
Or he pays off huge. Like, I don't know.
That's true. He could do that.
That's the fun part about rookie drafts.
He's a top 12 pick. My next pick, there's a couple people here. I'm going to go with Keon Coleman.
I know you were taking Keon. I didn't want to take him, so I gave him to you.
He's super young. He wins different than what we see. People are like, oh, there's no separation and stuff. Like, I mean, if you watch him on the field, especially during drills and stuff, the guy catches everything that's near him. And Doug, you've seen that at Florida State. He may not have separation, but if the ball's near him, there's a good chance that kid's coming down with it because
N'Keal Harry was good at that too.
N'Keal Harry was not a ball winner in the air, and his actual profile for like his combine stuff for jumping and stuff wasn't the greatest. It was more average. But Keon has like pterodactyl wing arms. He's long. He's 6'3", and I think he's better than people give him credit for with speed. I mean, he ran the gauntlet fast, and if you rewatch his gauntlet, they legit even said like Daniel Jeremiah, without even looking at the speed, was like he was flying through that gauntlet, and
I think he realized that he's like, I ran a slow 40. I gotta do this.
But it was smooth. Like he transitioned well. His hands were soft but like strong. I think he is going to be somebody everybody's like, well, this doesn't show me anything good for analytics, so I'm going to stay away. He's one of those guys, especially like his character fits so well with Josh Allen. I think they're going to be like best friends, unlike Stephon Diggs, who apparently nobody in quarterback realm likes. Keon Coleman to me is one of those guys we're going to be very happy getting at 204, 205. Yeah, and I mean Field Yates likes him, so
I do like Field.
So there's a lot of analysts that really still like Coleman, and he's super young, and he's got a great breakout. He was better than Jane Reed in Michigan State, so there's a lot of positives with the negatives. It's which is going to pan out, and he is a dart throw.
That's right, and as Biggie told me, I turned a negative to a positive, and it's all good. And if you don't know, now you know. Let's go to the 203, another Florida State player, back to back. I'm going to take Trey Benson. I'm not.
I thought it was Jordan Travis.
I wish. I'm not the biggest Trey Benson guy, but I think he's being elevated because this running back class, while there's a lot of players that I like, the NFL kind of showed us like, yeah, we knew it's not great. And that's okay. But Trey Benson obviously goes in there. James Conner, is the starter. There's not much behind him. Michael Carter, and DeMercado, which serves beautiful food, the DeMercado. So Trey Benson, to me, he's got the explosiveness. I question some of his vision. And to me, I was talking to my brother-in-law about this, and he's like, yeah, we watch a lot of Florida State. And he made a good point. It's like anytime like on third down or they needed a big play, a lot of times Trey Benson wasn't on the field, which was interesting. So I think obviously he could be the incumbent next year if Connor moves on. Obviously, if Connor gets injured, then Trey Benson should be relevant in year one.
Yeah.
But to me, he's either the running back 1 or 2 in this class because it is a lighter class. If you're running back needy, I wouldn't overdraft one of these guys. I would just kind of kick the can down the road and wait till next year because there's going to be a lot more options for you. But in this range, with the other players that are available, I have questions about them too. So Trey Benson makes sense here at the 203.
Who was the running back ahead of Jonathan Taylor when he was a rookie? That we're just so annoyed that wouldn't give him care. Like, who was that?
That is a great question.
I think that's the type of year we're gonna have for Trey Benson. Like, we're gonna all wish that that Connor's gone, and because Trey Benson is gonna break off probably 3 or 4 massive runs, and they're gonna be like, oh, let's get this guy. Like, maybe it's okay to let this guy kind of get used to the running side because he's an upright runner, and there's a chance this guy could get destroyed, especially if he gets tackled low because he's had like 50 knee injuries already. So yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that Jonathan Taylor rookie year where it's like 700 yards, maybe 5 to 7 touchdowns, and they're going to be massive, and it's going to be very hyped for next year. So his value could go through the roof. His value could be very low now, and it's going to go through the roof next year. That's what I kind of vision it as. My next pick is going to be Michael Penix. Like you said with Bo Nix, it's a quarterback league. Penix, to me, top 10 quarterback. I get if I have to wait 2 years, that's fine. And if he has to wait less than that, great. You get him a little earlier. He's already pro ready. We don't need to do the Jordan Love thing like we might have to with Drake May. Penix is ready right now. It's just Kirk Cousins got that deal. There's a chance Kirk Cousins could get traded next year. We've seen it happen. Penix could come in next year. There's a lot of things that could happen. But for as many people as poo-pooed this pick, Penix is a great quarterback. He fits well in the system. So I think Penix is going to be one of those guys you get now at 205, 206. And in a year or two, you're going to be like, nice. Like, I'm glad.
Yeah, or if you already had like 3 quarterbacks and you took him as a luxury pick, you can flip him for a first if he hits easily.
Hell, like there's been times when I'm like, hey, I got a 2026 first in a Superflex league. Offer that to get Penix because even if you have to wait 2 years, there you go. You got your starting quarterback already.
True.
And even if you have Kirk Cousins right now and you're worried about it, do that. Make that offer. Do a 2026 first for Penix and sit there and just be like, okay, I got my quarterback. There's a transition there. I'm not worried. Here we go.
Okay. I'm going to take Ricky Pearsall at the 205. First round draft capital means a lot. I think my sneaky suspicion tells me that Debo might get traded before the season starts. I think if I had to pick between Ayuk and Debo, I'm going to take Ayuk. He's younger. I think he's more talented. Debo is a very unique player. I do like Debo as a player. I think he's going to be really desirable in the trade market. There's still a lot of wide receiver needy teams out there that have cap room, Patriots. But Pearsall, I was surprised he went in the first round, but the Niners is a perfect situation for him for what he can do over the middle of the field and his versatility, kind of like a Ladd McConkey. Very similar players. McConkey's got a little bit more explosion. I think Pearsall's a little grittier, especially over the middle, but I like both of them. So Pearsall, again, it's going to be the rookie year. Might be, if they don't trade Debo the rookie year, you're not going to get much. But if they trade Debo, his first round pick, he could hit in year one. So I like taking Pearsall here. 205. I finished middle of the pack. I'm cool with that.
All right, 206. I'm going to go with a player I've taken in 206 a lot, and that's Jalen Wright, running back for Miami. They gave up a 3rd round pick next year for him, and Mostert and Achane aren't a picture of health. I think we're going to see Wright sooner than we think, and I think he's going to compete with Trey Benson value-wise at the end of the year because they will probably have similar stats and both similar hype because Mostert I don't think is going to stay healthy throughout the year. Neither is Achane, and Jalen Wright is a bigger version of Mostert. So yeah, I think Jalen Wright is going to open a lot of eyes in the preseason and regular season. We're going to see him a little more than we think.
Yeah, I think a lot of analysts have been like, "Oh, he's buried in the depth chart," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like Mostert is a fragile Fred.
It's
He was
32.
He's 32. He's going to be gone after this year. And Jalen Wright is the perfect. If Mostert is healthy all year long, cool, good for him. But next year, Jalen Wright's going to be like, boop, here you
Yep,
go.
just like Trey Benson. But Trey Benson
Easy
is
peasy.
what, 8, 9 picks ahead of him, maybe even more, a whole round.
Could be.
So it's like a value. If you miss on Trey Benson, he is the perfect pick to be like, okay, whatever.
All right, 207. I'm going to take Xavier Mumbles Leggett.
Damn it.
Again,
I wanted him.
the draft capital is there. They traded up into the first round. You know, they guaranteed they were going to take him. So the news here in New England is that the Patriots wanted to trade up into the first round to take Leggett, and the Panthers made that move and moved back up to get their guy. Obviously, the opportunities are there. Adam Thielen is 70 million years old. Jonathan Mingo.
It's true. Dinosaurs.
Jonathan Mingo is still a project. They're revamping that offense, and they're going to scheme up Leggett to get targets, maybe get some carries out of the backfield and that kind of thing. He's entertaining to listen to. And, you know, my biggest red flag with Leggett is zero production until his last year in college, which always scares the living hell out of me. But
the COVID thing, like the COVID years explains a lot, though.
But at 207, that's good value for a guy that was picked in the first round, kind of like Pearsall at 205. So
Bingo.
I'm gonna go with the draft capital. The NFL told me what they thought of the player, and just go with that. So Leggett at 207, I think is actually pretty good value there.
Yeah, no, I really like that pick, and I traded it up in UDPL to go get him. I gave up a future second. Izzy thinks I'm going to be absolutely terrible. Thank you, Izzy, and decided to trade me the pick that Leggett was in, and
Nice.
I decided to go snag him up. Because why not? I got Coleman and Leggett, the two lovable wide receivers in this rookie class.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong? My next pick, I'm going to go Ben Sinnott, my second tight end, and I just think we're going to see him earlier than we think. Zach Ertz, okay, great. Maybe get four. Maybe get four good games out of him. But Sinnott has already looked at practice. He's done a lot. Like him and Jane are already getting a connection. They had the rookie minicamp to do so. Yeah, I think Sinnott is going to be a top 8 tight end, maybe even by the end of the year.
Yep, I like that. I'm going to take 209. A lot of people might be like, Adonai Mitchell, take him. He slipped in the draft. I'm going to take the guy that was drafted before him at the top of the second round, Jalen Polk for the New England Patriots, who, unlike Mitchell's going to be behind Downs and Pittman. Polk could be the wide receiver 1 on New England. We don't know. You know, obviously paired with Drake May with the quarterback. Anthony Richardson's a rushing quarterback typically. So my questions about Mitchell, his profile is a little wonky too. I like the athleticism, but where are the target's going to come from? How often is he going to get targeted? I just think Jalen Polk has more upside because I think he could be the wide receiver 1 in New England. So I like that paired with the rookie quarterback. So Polk here at 209. Boom.
You're leaving me with this could be last year, the Kendre Miller situation where we just get roasted for not taking Kendre Miller in the top 2 rounds. But
how'd that work out? It worked out okay.
I can't do it. I'm going to go this. I love this spot in rookie drafts. I love just having late second, early third round picks, a whole mess of them, because you get these shots on these very well drafted players. Oh man, this is tough. All right, I'm going to go with. Give me a player I really like through the whole entire thing. Give me Roman Wilson. I don't care about Arthur Smith. I think Arthur Smith is going to just give us the middle finger this year and throw more than he ever has. I know the situation shows that they should run, but Roman Wilson, I think he's just a Deontay Johnson clone. He can be dropped right into this offense and just keep the production. And I think he's probably even more talented athletically version of him.
Okay, I like that. Where am I going to go? This is a great question. I think I'll go back to the running back position. And, you know, in the event that we see Kyren Williams get hurt, which could happen, happened last year when we saw the Rams struggle after he was gone. And we don't know long term, like Sean McVay likes to use guys and then like forget about them. And maybe Kyron is in that. I mean, we saw it with Todd Gurley. We saw it with Darrell Henderson. We've seen it with like every running back that's gone through the Rams under Sean McVay. But I'll take Blake Corum here at the end of the second round. I really like this player. I think he fits that scheme really, really well. And if Kyron goes down, there's no reason why Corum couldn't be an RB1 week to week.
Yeah,
Again,
I mean,
there's no one behind him. So
yeah, it's pretty much a drop in and just take his production. For me, I'm gonna go Marshawn Lloyd. Same reason. You guys know how much I don't like AJ Dillon. I think he's useless. Don't know why he got money. And apparently Marshawn Lloyd has turned heads big time in camp, and we've all known the talents there. It's about the fumbles. He's a big time fumbler. So if he can clean that up, I think we're going to see more Marshawn Lloyd than we probably think. Jacobs is a 4-year.
Could be a 1.
Yeah, could be a 1.
Yeah.
I could see him saying 2, but Jacobs came off a really bad year last year, so Marshawn Lloyd could be the lightning. The lightning to Jacobs' thunder. Yeah, so I think Marshawn Lloyd end of the second is a great pick for just an upside running back.
Nothing gets me like those, like, oh, the lightning, and then it goes ka-chow. I laugh every time.
Ka-chow.
It's so stupid, but my humor is that of a 5-year-old, so it's fine. Well, that is going to wrap up our Superflex rookie mock draft for this week. I've got to run. I got to go get my youngest from school. Let's see the sacrifices of potting in the middle of the day. As it happens. Tyler's got stuff. He's got his haircut. He's getting a new facial configure.
I have to.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you just look terrible. So
Botox. That's what I'm doing.
Botox. Oh my god. And you just complained about spending all your money and you're getting Botox? You need a financial advisor, sir. All right, that is going to wrap us up. Thank you for Manscaped for the sponsorship code DHH once again to get 20% off your Manscaper. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure if you go on to Apple or whatever you listen to our beautiful voices on, make sure you leave a review and a ranking. A ranking? What am I? Rating? I'm so confused. I'm trying to get out of here. Anywho, thank you for tuning in. This has been the Dynasty Happy Hour. I'm Doug. That's Tyler. Bye-bye.